Hi, and welcome back to my little channel. A bit of combined one today. It's a bit of a citizen channel stroke film and TV channel because we've got a football documentary that I'm going to talk about. It's not about City, but obviously it relates to football in general, so it's for all fans, of course. And we're having a look today at something called Football Dreams, the Academy, which has been showing on Channel 4. So we're going to have a quick look back at this. It's a 6-episode documentary series, of course. It's been since starting on the 11th of August, and I think the final episode aired on the 14th of September. So I'll have a quick check out of that. What was interested in this one? Palace, yeah, I don't mind Palace. I don't particularly like the owners, etc. at Palace, but yeah, I think it was a good team to pick for this sort of documentary. So we'll have a look at that today. Please, if you are new to the channel, either the film and TV channel or the Citizen channel, please push that subscribe button, push the bell notification. All these vlogs are coming out usually. All things City or all things film and TV, of course. And if you can make an old City fan, old film watcher, old TV watcher very happy, just give us a thumbs up, guys. I try and put this out and try and inform and entertain if I can. And going forward, you can push that notification button and tell your friends. That'll be absolutely brilliant. Right, let's have a quick look at this Football Dreams Academy. And it's now on all four. So as I'm recording this on the 17th of September 2022, it's actually down as being available for 28 days on all four. So if you're here in the UK, if you're outside of the UK, just check whatever sites you've got that streams British documentaries. It's certainly well worth seeking out this if you get the opportunity. So it is available until around about early October on all four, so all 6 episodes, about 44-minute episodes with the adverts if you watch it week by week, which I had to do. I like to binge watch, but they didn't show them on all four till it had actually finished. Yeah, and it follows basically Crystal Palace. It's Crystal Palace's football club academy, and follows the 8 to 18-year-olds at this prestigious Crystal Palace Football Club. That's what they call it, but I think they're all pretty prestigious, aren't they? And about 200 kids train hard for their shot at the big time. I think it's something like 1% will make it into the big time, but obviously in the football industry these days, there's so many options, isn't there, with the background and coaching and all behind the scenes stuff. I mean, for every player, there's probably about 10 background people doing stuff. So there's so many options. You don't really get to see whether the kids. I know with the Manchester City Academy, they have the school, etc. And you don't really get to see the education side of this, whether there is or not. Obviously, these kids are still in school, most of them. So you don't get to see that stuff. So it's not very deep in that sense. Would have liked to see a little bit more of that. Obviously, we do get to see the home lives, etc. But yeah, it was interesting. There was a lot of things it didn't show you that I wouldn't have minded they did show you. But obviously, within 6 episodes, you're probably a bit limited as to what they could do. But it did get just a little bit repetitive at times in what it was showing. And I think it should have shown a lot more. But perhaps Palace weren't really willing to do that. I don't know the ins and outs of it. So it is good, but not perhaps as good as it could have been if I'd have been directing or behind the camera trying to have a nosy and sort of go through what's happening there. The constructive point away, if you like. Say, because if you only imagine one of these kids, 1% of these kids are going to make it. You do want to see what options you've got, and we don't really get to see that in this, which is a bit scary. And how they're looked after if things don't go quite right. Yeah, just generally looking at the reviews from other people, there's a lot of reviews calling for a girls' version, obviously with the women's football doing so well. I don't think that quite works for this at the moment because I don't think the intensity's there on the women's side. I'm sure it may be one day, but I think this was a perfect just to concentrate on the lads, on the kids. So, and not to say there won't be a girls' version or just an episode could have featured some of the girls, I suppose. But I think this was spot on for where we are at the moment and stuff like that. So I don't particularly agree that we should have had the girls' side to it just in this documentary. And it's there. I mean, if you look at the pressure on the youngsters, it's there to see. I mean, I used to take my lad to football. There was never any chance. He was a good lad. He enjoyed playing football, and most dads do. Most dads take the kids to football, and we don't dream of them ever playing for our beloved own teams or any football team. We just take them because we like doing it. Obviously, this was a little bit different because once you get picked for an academy, obviously your parents perhaps start to dream a little bit more as well. And as I say, even though they know the percentages are low, there's nothing wrong with dreaming. There's nothing wrong with dreaming as a parent. There's nothing wrong with dreaming as a kid, as long as we're all set up when those dreams come crashing down. That's the only thing which I do worry about. And we didn't get to see a lot of that in this series. Yeah, the Palace staff came out with this really well. As I say, I'm not a big fan of Mr. Parrish. I don't like him particularly. I don't mind Vieira, the manager. They both appear from time to time in this documentary. And I think all the little coaches of all the different age groups, which there are, some with not familiar names to us, of course, certainly as City fans or any other football fan, they might be a little bit better known to Palace fans. But I must admit, I don't really know the ins and outs of City's coaching staff down to the under 12s and the under 14s, etc., etc. But they all come out pretty fair and all come out pretty decent guys in this, which is fair enough. I don't mind that at all. And of course, the parents are the pain, aren't they? The parents are the ones that are perhaps trying to live out their own dreams through the kids, of course, both dads and mums. A lot of these kids seem to appear to come from single parent families as well. Whether that's the location, I'm not too sure. Or the other members of the family, the mum and dad didn't want to appear. There's always one family. Very rarely was both parents sort of there at the things. It was always either one or the other, which is interesting. But the parents live out their hopes of stardom, especially the male parents, of course, the dads, obviously what they could have done when they were young, and they're living it out through the kids, of course, which you'd expect, but puts a little bit more pressure on the kids. And of course, the younger age groups, although the Palace staff, I think, do the best to try and keep it fun as well. There's still a pressure to come on and to be retained season by season, if you like. Obviously, as you get older, it gets more pressure. But of course, the parents are still involved and still put pressure on their own kids as well. So that obviously came through. Not too bad. There was only one or two real parents who seemed to be having to sort of slap down a little bit by the coaching staff because they were putting too much pressure on. Or there was one guy who was turning up for the training sessions and he literally had to sort of hide away and not watch because he was obviously giving advice against, and the coaching staff didn't really want that. The coaching staff wanted the lad to play as he was, and this dad was doing too much. So that was interesting side, but not a surprise, and certainly not a surprise from me. I've lived and breathed football from being a kid myself, so it didn't surprise me at all from that element. Uh, yeah, I mean, some of the younger ones looked more capable of than some of coping with injury and stuff like this. Some were sulky, some were bright, but that's just all through the age groups. We're all like that. It doesn't make any difference. To say when you practice and practice and practice, you want to get on, and when things aren't working out, you get a little bit down. So it did show that side of it. I think all the kids, I don't think any of them were unlikable. They're all likable, as were the parents to some extent. They want to repay their parents' belief in them with nice cars, of course, and big houses. As you'd expect, that's a dream. I mean, I still have that dream now of winning the lottery and treat myself and my family and friends to nice cars and big houses. But it's just a dream, not likely to come true. And unfortunately for these lads as well, it's not going to come true for all of these, is it? It's going to be a very small percentage you'll be able to do that. But as I said, there's still a lot to go at as far as career is concerned in football. As I say, we didn't see anything outside of playing for the first 11 team in this, but there's certainly other options out there, of course, for the lads. I'd love to see one of these, like the 7, 11, 14, 21 documentaries. You remember those in the old days? I'd love to see. Hopefully, they may go back to some of these lads in 7 years' time and see where they're at, what they're doing. Hopefully, all well and good. So I'd love to see something like that. Whether we will, I doubt. I'm not too sure. We'd love to see how they progress in coming years, not just the ones who make it, the very small percentage. I mean, probably all the lads featured in this. There was one lad we saw late on who was obviously under 17 who got his first team game in an FA Cup match. That was great, and that's nice to see. But say most of these won't even get that opportunity. I think the choice of Palace was a good one. I think that was a good team to pick rather than one of the big boys. Let's say, no disrespect to Palace, but they're not one of the big boys. And I think, as I say, it's shown a more homely version, perhaps. And I'm hoping, like my own club and other clubs who are a little bit higher esteem or higher value clubs, if you like, treat the players as well, if not better. We always hope to see that, wouldn't we? But it was interesting to see, as I say, I did comment the guy playing for the first team. It was nice to wrap up the series with that, with the older guys rather than the younger ones. We get the younger ones more in the early episodes. But it's nice. It's a good watch. It's a great watch. It's a nice addition to all these all or nothing thing, which is about the main guys, of course. Um, I didn't notice in this too. As I said, it didn't go too deep. It didn't get too disappointed. We didn't get to see too many of the lads' dreams shattered in this, which. Not from a voyeuristic point of view, but from a real life point of view. I mean, there's one of the older players who said if he doesn't make it in football, he doesn't know what he'll do. In one, I think it was the last episode, and that is a worry. I mean, these guys have to have the ability to know that there is something after that. If your dream doesn't come true, your dreams are shattered. You can move on. Of course, you can be upset, but. And we do know about young lads taking their own lives. I think it's happened at City. I'm sure it's happened at other clubs. So I wouldn't mind a little bit more of background to what happens in that situation, because a lot of this was yes, we're retaining you. Yes, don't give up. We'll see how it goes. We'll not give you a contract yet, but we'll still keep you on. So a lot of this was positive in this series. There's not a lot of letdowns for the lads. You saw lads sulking and getting a bit unhappy if they got injured or they weren't playing very well, but. It all seemed a little bit nicey to me, which is fair enough. It is what it is, but yeah, as I say, the sort of more serious side of me wants to see a little bit more, perhaps, than this 6 episode series gave us. But having said that, it's a great watch. It's a must watch for all football fans. So as I said, it's on all four. Get along and watch it. Let me know your thoughts if you have been watching this. Let me know what you thought. And I say it's just great. I mean, obviously, I think we'd all like to see this sort of thing for our own clubs. And obviously, being a City fan, I read up on what's going on with the academy and stuff like that, and stories and news and the lads. And you just know all these names. I go back to the old programs of the 70s and all these young lads coming through the youth teams, and very, one or two. Occasionally, you get a group of them coming to the fore, but obviously they're just names that just disappear. And sadly, some of these lads' names will disappear. But it'd be great, as I said, to see in the future that they're cared for and looked after if things don't work out. But we didn't get to see that really side of it. But I must watch it. Great little series. Very, very interesting. Anyway, let me know your comments, guys, please. Until we meet again, I only ask one thing, don't I? Please stay safe, everyone. Thanks for watching. Come on, City, because it's football as well. Come on, City. Hope we look after our kids as well, and everyone does. Every club does. And as I say, put up with the disappointment. Any disappointment, let's hope we cover for it. And as I say, we do hear some horror stories, but let's hope behind the scenes all that work is going on to sort of keep these lads. And they say there's lots of options now, not just playing for a football team, but behind the scenes as well. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Please come on, City. Bye for now.